In this video, we're going to be learning how to create a gap analysis sheet. On the left hand side, I've got my teacher account, and on the right hand side, I've got my student account. I'm going to create a gap analysis sheet for year 9 with a focus on group 9 triple T. So if I click on this group, you'll notice that I've got my assessment tools here. So if I click on that, and then I've got my gap analysis tool here. So if I click there, now straight away you'll notice that I've not created any gap analysis sheets for year 9 so far, but if I click on add a gap analysis sheet, you'll notice that this is the window that pops open, and all you've got to do is fill in basically the missing boxes. So therefore, if I add in a title, now this might be focusing on a particular test of some sort, and then all I need to do is put in the objective of any particular skills within the test, some feed-forward activities, and the answer for the feed-forward activities. Now it might be that question 1 was to do with a skill on adding and subtracting fractions. And the objective was this question number 1 was worth 3 marks. The feed forward activity, just to keep it simple, might be a quarter plus a quarter, and obviously then I can put in my answer of 2 quarters, which simplifies down to a half. For skill 2, I actually wanted to break the test up into smaller chunks. Now this was to do with question 2 part 1 and was worth only 1 mark, and it might be to identify the number of parts of a shape that are shaded. So in this case, it might be the feed forward activity is to draw a box around 8 squares in your book, shade 6 squares, what fraction is left unshaded. So there's my feed forward activities, and if I just put in the answer of 2 out of 8, which simplifies down to 1 quarter, I've added in only 2 objectives, but if I click add more, I can add up to 64 altogether, and I'll just click save for now to leave it as that. So once you've created your gap analysis sheet, how does it look from the student's perspective? Well, if I click on maths within the student account, and at the bottom here you've got your assessment tool, so if I click on there, then you've got the gap analysis sheet. You'll notice that practice test then appears in the student account. So if they click on there, the 2 objectives that were created within the assessment tool in the teacher account then appear in the student. Now it's the student's responsibility to be able to input any information. So in this case, from the assessment and looking at the marking that was done, they may have got 2 out of 3 in the first skill, and then notice how it says here question 2 part 1, they actually got that one correct, so they got 4 marks. When they click save, obviously that sort of gets saved to the cloud, and that's it. So the student has then completed the gap analysis sheet. But what can they do from the gap analysis sheet now that that information has been saved? Well, you'll notice how when they re-enter it, everything is then being color-coded according to how well they've done in that one question. If you notice here, they've got 2 out of 3 and it's amber. If they wanted to look at what the objective or the feed-forward activity is, it will then pop up once you click the objective or FF button. So you've got the add and subtract fractions, which was the objective that I created in the teacher account. You've got feed forward activity, and once obviously the students had a go at the feed forward activity, they can click to reveal and see whether they've got it right. There is always the option of creating a report that could obviously be written perhaps in their book that identifies some what went wells and even better if. Now obviously that's great, the student can see all this information. What do I get to see as the teacher? Well, on the left hand side here in the teacher account, you'll notice that there's this little graph tool. If I click on the graph tool, what it will do is it will then download everyone within my class, and here you can see test 3, which is who the dummy account was, and they got 2 out of 3 for the first objective and 1 out of 1 for the second objective. If I wanted to quickly remind myself of what a particular column is all about, if I click on the little ob one, it will then bring up what the objective, the feed forward activity, and what the answer is for me. If I thought, well, that's great, I want to see the report that the students get to see, well, if you actually click on the little report symbol alongside each person's name, the same window will open up with their what went wells and even better if. If a student has potentially made a mistake in their working out or entering of data, I can actually edit it within the student and within the teacher account. Click Save, and when the student re-enters that same sheet, they will then notice that their account has been adjusted according to what the teacher has done.